Hi everyone, this is Shruti Pandey from the Department of Chemical Engineering at IIT Kanpur, and I welcome you all to the first lecture of the chapter Alcohols, Phenols and Ethers in Chemistry of Class 12. So when this branch of organic chemistry was started, so the first class of compounds you must have been taught are the hydrocarbons. Why? Because they are the most basic and the most elemental compounds from which through which many other different advanced class of compounds they can be manufactured or prepared. Okay, because they are basic because they consist of only two types of atoms, that is carbon and hydrogen. Okay, so just to make you to remind you all that these hydrocarbons they are of two types, that is the aliphatic and the cyclic compounds. Okay, so the aliphatic compounds are the those hydrocarbons which are straight chain compounds. I mean, they are not closed. They are open chain compounds. Okay. There can be different isomers of these compounds also, but they will be open chained and they will have only the carbon and the hydrogen atoms. Other than that, the second category of these hydrocarbons is the cyclic compounds, where the cyclic compounds they are the hydrocarbons where the chain is closed. I mean let me just okay. So this is the broad category. This is the first class of compounds which are taught in organic chemistry. We have aliphatic and we have cyclic. Okay. In aliphatic also we have certain other categories, like you must be aware of all these. This is just for the introduction. Alkanes, alkenes and alkynes. ठीक है, मतलब alkanes they are the saturated compounds. They only have a single bonds. They don't have a double bond between the two carbon atoms. They are saturated. Alkenes they have a double bond, and alkynes have a triple bond between the carbon atoms. ठीक है. So this is a short introduction of these aliphatic compounds. Now coming to the cyclic ones, these are the closed chain compounds. Like I may say this is cyclopropane. Why? Because it has three carbon atoms first of all, so it is propane, and that too, it is a cyclic ring. That means it will be called as cyclopropane. Fine. Now there can be many cyclic compounds. Now these can also be these can also be saturated and unsaturated. There can be a double bond here, no problem. Okay. Now we can also divide cyclic into two parts. Some can be aromatic and the others will be non-aromatic. Okay. So the aromatic compounds, they generally have the benzene ring included in them. Most of them. It's not necessary that there is a benzene ring, but the compounds or the classes that we will study, they will generally have benzene ring because of its large applications in industry. Okay. And there are several rules for the aromaticity. That is, several rules are there to govern whether to identify whether a compound will be a aromatic compound or a non-aromatic compound. Okay. So one of them, the most important of them, is the Huckel's rule, that there must be 4n plus 2. Okay. So let me just write it down this way. One important rule is Huckel's rule. It says that there must be 4n plus 2 pi electrons in that compound. ठीक है, मतलब n is a number of carbon atoms. ठीक है, n is a number of carbon atoms, and so the 4n plus 2 pi electrons should be there. The second rule says there must be conjugation. Conjugation, in simple terms you can say कि the electrons they must be free and they can move from one place to the other. ठीक है, अब ये कैसे पता करेंगे? So the simplest way to identify this conjugation thing is that the double bonds they are alternate. I mean like this. Okay. So one double bond, then one single bond, then one double bond, then one single bond. Okay. So this is the structure alternate double bonds between the carbon atoms. Then we say that the pi electrons are in conjugation. Okay, and should be and conjugation all over the ring. Let me write it down. And this kind of structure should be all over the ring. Okay, and then the last one is the planar. The molecule must be planar. Okay. So other cyclic compounds which do not follow any one of these properties or any one of these rules, they are termed to be the non-aromatic compounds. Okay. So uh, these are the most basic class of compounds in organic chemistry. Now they have wide applications in the industry because the other advanced class of compounds, they can be manufactured from these compounds. Other advanced, let me write it down. No, they are halides when the halogen atom is added in the hydrocarbons. Then we have alcohols. Then we have phenols. All these terms you all must be aware of. Okay. Then we have aldehydes, ketones, ethers, amines, amides, carboxylic acids, esters, and many more. These are the only compounds that you will be taught. Okay, because they have applications and they are very useful. Okay, so all these are the advanced compounds, and these hydrocarbons are important because you can replace one of the edge of any of the hydrocarbon and put another group of atom or one atom. Okay, and you will form a different compound. So, and these are all these advanced class of compounds. Okay. So now this was a very short introduction about the basics of this organic chemistry. Now we will move on to our chapter, that is alcohols, phenols and ethers. So the first thing that we will do is understand the structure of alcohols and ethers. Okay. What is the structure and which type of compounds will be called as these. Okay. So what are alcohols? They are formed when a hydrogen atom in a aliphatic hydrocarbon is replaced by the OH group. Now, I already told you that what is an aliphatic hydrocarbon? That is open chain compound. Okay, there is no cyclic ring present in that compound. All the carbons are open chain. Okay, so whenever you have this is an aliphatic hydrocarbon. Okay, and you replace a hydrogen atom in this hydrocarbon by an OH group. So suppose we remove this H and we replace it by, we'll remove this H and we will replace it by OH. ये जो bond होता है, this bond that is forming here, that is between the C and the O atom. ठीक है, H के साथ bond नहीं होता, O और H का आपस में bond होता है, and this bond is between C and O atom. ठीक है, so this compound is known as alcohol. ठीक है. Similarly, phenols क्या होते हैं? Phenols are the compounds, they are formed when a hydrogen atom in an aromatic hydrocarbon is replaced by the OH group. ठीक है, तो कोई भी aromatic carbon hydrocarbon लेते, let's take a benzene ring. ठीक है, this is aromatic, this is the most simplest of all the aromatic compounds. And suppose करो यहाँ पे एक हाइड्रोजन था, यहाँ पे उस हाइड्रोजन की जगह पे we have put OH. So this will be now called as phenol. ठीक है. So let me first tell you the applications. We'll discuss the applications and the day-to-day life uses of these compounds. That why are we studying this? So these compounds, they can be found in sugar, the white sugar that we eat. So when you check out the chemical formula, you will find a lot of OH groups. They are in that chemical formula and in its chemical structure of sugar. Okay. So sugar has the lot of alcoholic groups, OH groups. Then cotton, that is used in the that is used for making the fabrics. That also has OH groups. Paper, that we use for writing purposes. Spirit, that is used for cleansing purposes, or spirit has many other and other uses like polishing and all, polishing of the surfaces. So there also it is used. Then in the sanitizers, that you must have read in the sanitizers, it is written like 70% alcohol, 90% alcohol. So there are also many compounds containing of these type alcohols. Then detergents for washing clothes. Then some of the alcohols, not all, some of them they are also used as a fuel. Why? Because when they'll react with oxygen of the air, they burn. They burn to give carbon dioxide and water, and they release release a very good amount of energy. So that is why they may be used as fuels also. Then they are also used to in the medical industry. They are used for sterilizing purposes. Sterilizing, matlab, you must have seen, no, in the like all the things that are all the appliances or all the tools that a person that a doctor uses for the operation purpose, that will be sterilized, and it is also used as an antiseptic in the medical industry. Okay, so these were some of the uses. There are many more. We will stop here and you can check this out on Google. Now coming to the ethers. How are ethers formed? Ethers are formed when a hydrogen atom in a hydrocarbon is replaced by an alkoxy or a aryloxy group. ठीक है? So what is an alkoxy group? जैसे हाइड्रोक्सी क्या होता है? You will not forget it this way. Just remember it this way that हाइड्रोक्सी ग्रुप क्या होता है? OH. ठीक है? तो बस उसी हाइड्रोक्सी ग्रुप में if we want to write down alkoxy group, so what it would be? बस हाइड्रोजन की जगह पे एल्केन लगाना है आपको, है ना? एल्काइल ग्रुप लगाना है हाइड्रोजन की जगह पे, बाकी एवरीथिंग इज सेम. सॉरी, एल्कोक्सी ग्रुप विल बी OR. ठीक है. सिमिलरली एराइल ऑक्सी ग्रुप क्या होता है? यहाँ पे हाइड्रो की जगह पे एराइल एराइल लगा हुआ है, दैट इज एराइल ग्रुप होना चाहिए. सो इट विल बी OAR. AR स्टैंड्स फॉर एराइल. ठीक है. So this is the alkoxy and the aryloxy groups. So whenever a hydrogen atom in any of the hydrocarbon is replaced by either this or this, then we call it as ether. ऊपर क्या था? इससे रिप्लेस हुआ था, हाइड्रोक्सी ग्रुप से रिप्लेस हुआ था, तो उसको अल्कोहल बोल दिया. ठीक है. और फेनॉल बोल दिया. अभी इससे रिप्लेस होगा, सो these compounds will be known as ethers. Fine. So suppose we have, let's take CH4, the simplest hydrocarbon, that's methane. Now what we will do, we will replace one H and we will add some O and some another compound, alkyl group. Okay, so this R can be anything, this AR can be any aryl group. Okay, so this CH3OCH3, this is an ether. ठीक है. और ऐसा भी बोल सकते हैं कि ethers they are formed when a hydrogen atom of the hydroxyl group of an alcohol or a phenol is replaced by an alkyl or an aryl group. मतलब कि जैसे यहाँ पे हमने अल्कोहल लिया था ना, फर्स्ट जो ये बना हुआ है, इसमें ये जो H लगा हुआ है, मतलब जो अल्कोहलिक ग्रुप लगा हुआ है, उसकी जगह पे what we will do, उस we will replace the hydrogen of the hydroxy group with an alkyl group. ऐसे. So then now this compound will be known as ether. ठीक है. यहाँ पे भी तो ये किया था, OH की जगह पे OR, मतलब H की जगह पे R लगा दिया था. यहाँ पे भी यही किया है, यहाँ पे भी H की जगह पे R लगा दिया है, तो it has now become ether. ठीक है. So this is the best way to understand this. Now we'll come to the classification of alcohols. So alcohols, they are classified based on the number of hydroxyl groups which are present in the compound. ठीक है. So let me write it down. On the basis of number of hydroxyl groups, that is, the first one will be monohydric alcohol. Monohydric, that means mono means one. So when there is a single OH group which is present, then we known as then that alcohol will be known as monohydric. Then we have dihydric alcohols. When two OH groups are present in that same compound, then that compound will be known as dihydric alcohol. For the case of trihydric alcohols, there are three OH groups, and then there are polyhydric alcohols when we have more than three OH groups present in that compound. ठीक है. Now there is a sub classification also, just to make the things easier for us to make the understanding better. So mm, so let us first to the example. Suppose this is C2H5OH. ठीक है. It is an alcohol because one H of ethane has been replaced by OH. ठीक है. But इसमें क्योंकि one OH group लगा हुआ है तो it will be considered as monohydric alcohol. Now we have this compound where we have two carbon atoms and two hydrogens, they have been replaced by OH. So obviously, uh, because they are two, it will be known as dihydric. Similarly, when three OH are present, then that will be known as trihydric alcohols. Okay. I'm not writing down the names of these alcohols because when we will do the nomenclature, then we'll be able to understand that how to write the names of these types of compounds. Now, the monohydric alcohols are further classified based on the hybridization of the carbon atom to which the OH group is attached. ठीक है, मतलब जिस कार्बन एटम से OH ग्रुप अटैच्ड है हम उस कार्बन की हाइब्रिडाइजेशन के बारे में बात करें. ठीक है, because there will be number of carbon atoms in that compound. We are not talking about those carbon atoms. ठीक है, so you must remember कि like you must be aware of this thing, no, कि सपोज ये हमारा फंक्शनल ग्रुप है मेन OH. ठीक है, तो जो इस द कार्बन टू विच दिस OH ग्रुप इज अटैच्ड दैट इज नोन एज एन अल्फा कार्बन. फिर उसके बाद वाला जो कार्बन है दैट कार्बन विल बी नोन एज बीटा कार्बन. तो बीटा का अल्फा कार्बन विल बी अ सिंगल अल्फा कार्बन. ठीक है, बट बीटा कार्बन कैन बी मेनी. मैनी क्या मतलब मोर ऑब्वियसली नॉट मोर देन थ्री. फ्रॉम either one, two or three beta carbons can be there. Then adjacent to the beta carbon, we'll have a gamma carbon. ठीक है. So this is how we study hydrocarbons. ठीक है, तो we are talking about the hybridization of the alpha carbon. Fine. Now coming to the classification, the हाँ, so we were in mono, no? So let's write it down as monohydric alcohol. They are further classified into two categories on the basis of the hybridization. ठीक है, तो when when the alpha carbon is sp3 hybridized and when the alpha carbon is sp2 hybridized. ठीक है, so in the case of sp3 there is a further classification. How will we write it as? We have primary alcohols, we have secondary alcohols, we have tertiary alcohols, we have allylic alcohols, and we have benzylic alcohols. So now I'm going to talk about the structures of these kinds of alcohols. ठीक है, तो देखो, one thing that I want to remind everybody is the carbon which is attached to only one carbon atom and rest is hydrogen. ठीक है, मान लो suppose in this structure only we are talking about the uh, we don't have a here, no. Okay, so we draw another compound. Here we have a carbon. Suppose this is a compound. Fine. Now, this is the alpha carbon, this is the beta carbon, this is the gamma carbon. Now you can clearly see that this alpha carbon, it is connected, it is attached to only one carbon atom, and rest of all are the hydrogen atoms. ठीक है, I have not drawn the or written down the hydrogen. I'm just want to make you understand of a concept. So this alpha carbon is connected to only one carbon, and so this will be termed as primary carbon. That is 1 degree carbon. ठीक है, प्राइमरी को ही 1 डिग्री बोलते हैं शॉर्ट में. This coming to this beta carbon, you can see that this beta carbon is connected to two other carbons, one to the right and one to the left. ठीक है, तो that means beta carbon, alpha carbon is 1 degree. यहाँ पे जो बीटा कार्बन है, because it is connected to two carbons, it will be called as secondary carbon or 2 degree carbon. Coming to the gamma carbon, you can see that it is attached to three carbon atoms. This left, right, and the downwards. ठीक है, three carbon atoms are attached. So this gamma carbon will be 3 degree or tertiary carbon. ठीक है, तो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन कि कार्बन कैसा है, मतलब 1 डिग्री है, 2 डिग्री है कि 3 डिग्री है, द फंक्शनल ग्रुप विच इज अटैच्ड टू दैट कार्बन, उसको भी हम 1 डिग्री और 2 डिग्री 3 डिग्री बोल सकते हैं। ठीक है, कैसे? तो सी, व्हाट आई टोल्ड यू इज दैट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द अल्फा कार्बन। ये जो sp3 हाइब्रिडाइजेशन है वो किसका है? अल्फा कार्बन का है। ठीक है, तो हियर आई एम राइटिंग अल्फा जस्ट टू रिमाइंड यू। तो इफ द OH ग्रुप इज अटैच्ड टू द प्राइमरी कार्बन एटम, मतलब जिस कार्बन एटम से OH ग्रुप अटैच है वो कार्बन एटम इज प्राइमरी, दैट कार्बन इज 1 डिग्री। मतलब इफ द अल्फा कार्बन इज 1 डिग्री, then that alcohol will be termed as primary alcohol. ठीक है, similarly if the OH group which is attached to the secondary carbon atom, that is the secondary alcohol, मतलब alpha carbon is 2 degrees secondary or 2 degree. Similarly tertiary के केस में भी alpha carbon should be 3 degree, 3 degree से ज़्यादा नहीं होगा, because we are talking about the functional group. Obviously one carbon can be attached to 4 carbon atoms, but अगर functional group attached है तो 3 options ही बचते हैं, right? Now coming to the allylic alcohol. When the OH group is attached to the sp3 hybridized carbon atom which is adjacent to the C carbon carbon double bond. ठीक है, तो ये तो allylic ग्रुप क्या होता है? दैट इज ऑफ द फॉर्म C डबल बॉन्ड C और यहाँ पे F. Oh sorry, this is a vinylic. Sorry, let me draw it again. This group is known as the allylic group. ठीक है, तो allylic ग्रुप की अगर डेफिनेशन बोले तो क्या होता है कि व्हेन एनी काइंड ऑफ फंक्शनल ग्रुप इज अटैच्ड टू अ कार्बन विच इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ डबल बॉन्ड, ठीक है, बट द एडजेसेंट कार्बन इज अ पार्ट ऑफ अ डबल बॉन्ड। ठीक है, तो इसमें क्या हो रहा है कि ये जो अल्फा कार्बन है वो तो sp3 हाइब्रिडाइज्ड ही है, ठीक है, लेकिन मतलब बिकॉज दैट अल्फा कार्बन इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ एनी डबल और ट्रिपल बॉन्ड, तो वो तो sp3 हाइब्रिडाइज्ड ही है, बट द बीटा कार्बन, but there is a double bond between the beta and the gamma carbon। ठीक है, तो ये जो ग्रुप होता है ना इसे बोलते हैं एलाइलिक ग्रुप। ठीक है, एंड सो एलाइलिक ऑल्सो कम्स अंडर दिस sp3 हाइब्रिडाइजेशन वाला कैटेगरी। ठीक है, तो हाउ कैन वी डिफाइन इट हियर? बिकॉज वी नो दिस कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ अल्फा बीटा एंड गामा कार्बन, we can say that allylic alcohols will be the alcohols when there is a double bond between the beta and the gamma carbon। ठीक है, तो बीटा कार्बन डबल बॉन्ड gamma carbon. This is just a way of writing for me just to make you all understand. I mean, this is not a correct way. I'm just trying to make you understand. ठीक है, or you can write is that there is a carbon which is beta carbon. This is double bond gamma carbon. ठीक है, alpha carbon अभी भी sp3 hybridized है. Fine. Now the last category is benzylic alcohol. यहाँ पे भी the OH is attached to the sp3 carbon, sp3 hybridized carbon which is next to an aromatic ring। ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे भी क्या है कि sp3 हाइब्रिडाइजेशन है अल्फा कार्बन की। ठीक है, तो दिस बेंजाइलिक जो ग्रुप होता है दैट इज ऑफ द फॉर्म, क्योंकि बेंजाइलिक है तो यहाँ पे बेंजीन रिंग ही होगी। तो ये है, देखो यहाँ पे क्या है, ये जो अल्फा कार्बन है दैट इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ डबल बॉन्ड। ठीक है, अल्फा कार्बन इज sp3 हाइब्रिडाइज्ड। नाउ इसके बगल वाला कार्बन जिससे कि अटैच्ड है, दिस कार्बन, दिस इज बीटा कार्बन and this carbon is gamma, so there is a double bond between both these carbon atoms। तो यहाँ पे भी we can write it as C beta double bond C gamma। ठीक है, but this is a case of an aromatic compound। वो एलाइडिक ग्रुप जो था वो एलिफैटिक था, ओपन चेन कंपाउंड्स में होता है एलाइलिक ग्रुप। ठीक है, दिस इज बेंजाइलिक। So these were the 5 categories talking about the sp3 hybridized carbon atom alpha carbon। ठीक है, now I'm going to draw certain structures, certain examples of all these sp3 hybridized carbon atom that we have discussed। So coming to the allylic example, you know that these allylic and benzylic alcohols, they can be further into classified or further divided into 1 degree, 2 degree and 3 degree compounds. Okay. So this you can see this is the alpha carbon, this is the beta and this is the gamma, and there is a double bond between beta and gamma. ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब है allylic group है. Now this is 1 degree allylic alcohol. Why? Because OH जिस कार्बन एटम से लगा हुआ है, that is attached to only one carbon atom. ठीक है, अल्फा और अल्फा is attached to only one beta carbon. ठीक है, इस वजह से इसको 1 डिग्री है. If we talk about this compound, ठीक है, तो there is a double bond between beta and gamma carbon, and this alpha carbon जो है ना, ये कितने कार्बन एटम से अटैच्ड है? ये अल्फा कार्बन इज अटैच्ड टू मोर कार्बन एटम्स, to the right, to the left and to the down. So it is 2 degree allylic alcohol. CH2 double bond CH COH, this is carbon. ठीक है. Now in this case allylic group तो present है, but the number of carbon atoms which are attached to the alpha carbon are 3. That is why this is known as tertiary or 3 degree allylic alcohol. Coming to the benzylic group, ठीक है. So because ये जो alpha carbon है, that is attached to only one carbon here, it is 1 degree benzylic. Now if we have a compound which is something of this form, ठीक है, so because it is attached to two carbon atoms, this and this, 2 degree benzylic. Now if we have benzylic and this carbon, alpha carbon, is attached to 3 carbon atoms, so this is tertiary benzylic alcohol. ठीक है. अच्छा, you must remember that the OH group is attached to a carbon, and that carbon is not a part of the double bond, and that carbon is not a part of a ring here. ठीक है, मतलब अगर हम बोलेंगे कि ये OH है and it is attached to a carbon, और वो कार्बन खुद ही एक रिंग का पार्ट है, खुद ही बेंजीन रिंग का पार्ट है, then that compound will not be called as benzylic alcohol. Actually अभी हम आगे देखेंगे, this is a phenol. ठीक है, so there is a difference between benzylic alcohol and phenol. ठीक है, तो because there can be confusion, so I have mentioned it. Now coming to the sp2 hybridized carbon atoms. So the second category was when the carbon which is attached to the oxygen, which is attached to the OH group is sp2 hybridized. ठीक है, तो इसमें we only have two categories. The one is aryl and the other is vinylic. क्योंकि sp2 है, hybridization है, so that means that, मतलब simply ऐसे ही बोल सकते हैं कि the carbon to which OH group is attached is a part of a double bond. ठीक है, तो vinylic group का example this. So जो हमारा alpha carbon है ना, there is a bond between the alpha and beta carbon. ठीक है, तो we can write it as C alpha is bond, it has a double bond to C beta. अब allylic वाले में क्या था? In the case of allylic alcohol, there was a double bond between the beta carbon and the gamma carbon. ठीक है, तो ये चीज ध्यान रखनी है, we don't have to get confused. In the case of aryl also, ठीक है, here also the carbon which is attached to the OH group is a part of a double bond, and in this case it is a ring, that is why it is known as aryl alcohol. ठीक है, इसमें भी C alpha double bond C beta. ठीक है, so there is a difference between the aryl group and the benzylic group. ठीक है. Now classification of phenols. Phenols may we don't have a lot of large classification. So here also we have monohydric, dihydric and trihydric. Monohydric, dihydric phenol and trihydric phenol. So इसमें क्या होगा? When a single OH group is attached to the aromatic ring, it is a monohydric. Suppose we have two OH group, it will be a dihydric phenol, and if we have three OH group, then will be a trihydric phenol. Fine. Now coming to the classification of the ethers. Ethers are also divided into two categories. One is simple or symmetrical. Why it is called symmetrical, we will see. and the other one is mixed और unsymmetrical और asymmetrical भी बोल सकते हैं. ठीक है. So we say that if the alkyl or the aryl groups which are attached to the middle oxygen atom, they are same, then that ether is said to be the simple or a symmetrical ether. मतलब क्योंकि देखो ethers में क्या होता है, I told you that the general formula of an ether is ROR, R prime. ठीक है, मतलब ROR prime यही होता है जनरली. अगर ऐसा बॉन्ड है किसी भी कंपाउंड में, so that will have a the ether functional group. ठीक है, तो इसमें दो एल्काइल ग्रुप्स हैं, एक है आर और एक है आर प्राइम. ये दोनों सेम भी हो सकते हैं और ये दोनों डिफरेंट भी हो सकते हैं. ठीक है. सो इन द केस ऑफ सिंपल और सिमेट्रिकल, व्हेन आर इज इक्वल टू आर प्राइम, व्हेन आर विल बी इक्वल टू आर प्राइम, तो दोनों तरफ सेम एल्काइल या फिर एराइल ग्रुप लगे होंगे. मतलब जरूरी नहीं है कि हम रिंग नहीं लगा सकते हैं, जैसे कि in the case of aliphatic or in the case of alkyl group if we have CH3 or CH3. ठीक है, क्योंकि दोनों तरफ सेम alkyl group है, so this will be simple. Now if we are talking about the aryl group, तो C6H5 O C6H5. ठीक है, this is also simple ether क्योंकि दोनों जो R हैं वो सेम है. Now in the case of mixed or the unsymmetrical ethers, this R will not be equal to R prime. ठीक है, तो एग्जाम्पल देखें तो कैसा होगा स्ट्रक्चर कि सपोज वी हैव CH3 वन साइड, देन O एंड देन वी हैव C2H5. ठीक है, क्योंकि सिमेट्री नहीं है इस वजह से अनसिमेट्रिकल बोलते हैं. नाउ दे कैन आल्सो बी द प्रेजेंस ऑफ अ रिंग. एक तरफ C2H5 मतलब इथाइल ग्रुप हो गया, एंड ऑन द अदर साइड वी हैव एन एल्काइल अराइल ग्रुप, दैट इज C6H5. सो this is also an example of unsymmetrical ether. Now we will do some questions related to the classification, and you will have to identify or you will have to classify the compounds that I am going to draw as either the primary, secondary or the tertiary alcohol, and whether there is a presence of a benzylic or an allylic group. ठीक है, क्योंकि we had discussed all the kinds of group ना, कि we have allylic, we have benzylic, we have vinylic, we have arylic. ठीक है, so if there is a presence of such groups, so my first compound is ये है. Now you have to tell whether this is a like which kind of alcohol, 1 degree, 2 degree और 3 degree. तो क्या करना है, सबसे पहले हमें देखना है अल्फा है, बीटा है कि गामा है, क्या है. ठीक है, तो बिकॉज 1 degree, 2 degree और 3 degree अल्कोहल पता करने के लिए वी ओनली नीड टू कंसीडर दी अल्फा कार्बन. ठीक है, वी आर नॉट गोना टॉक अबाउट बीटा कार्बन. ठीक है, क्योंकि दिस फर्स्ट कार्बन विल बी द अल्फा कार्बन and that is attached to only one carbon atom. ठीक है, ये जो दो और कार्बन एटम्स लगे हुए हैं, these are on the beta carbon. दोनों methyl groups हैं, these are on the beta carbon. Fine. So alpha carbon is attached to only one carbon atom, and that is why this will be a 1 degree alcohol or primary alcohol. And is there a presence of any kind of group? I mean allylic or arylic? And again, no, because there is an absence of double bond. Coming to the second compound, we have, ठीक है, तो इसमें भी सबसे पहले लेबल कर लो कौन सा अल्फा है, बीटा है, गामा है, क्या है. ठीक है, तो अल्फा बीटा गामा. ठीक है, नाउ द अल्फा कार्बन इज अटैच्ड टू ओनली वन कार्बन, बाकी दोनों H2 हैं, एंड द फोर्थ ग्रुप इज द OH1. ठीक है, तो अगेन दिस विल बी ऑल्सो 1 degree alcohol. ठीक है, and because we have a double bond here and that double bond is between the beta and the gamma carbon, we will also call it a allylic alcohol. So this will be in overall it will be allylic 1 degree alcohol or primary allylic alcohol. ठीक है, ऐसे भी बोल सकते हैं. ठीक है, now this again सबसे पहले क्या करना है, लेबल कर लो. To avoid any confusion, just label the carbons. Because the alpha carbon is attached to only one carbon, this is again 1 degree alcohol. But क्योंकि यहाँ पे डबल बॉन्ड नहीं है, तो ये सिंपल 1 degree alcohol है, प्राइमरी alcohol. Now this is OH and we have a benzene ring over here. ठीक है, now यहाँ पे भी व्हील फर्स्ट label. So OH is attached to this carbon, this is alpha. इसके साइड वाला कार्बन will be beta. So okay, let me use a different color, otherwise will not be visible. ठीक है, तो ये वाला जो है that is alpha, ये वाला जो है that is beta, and we also have another carbon, this one. So this is also a beta carbon here. ठीक है, so that means we have one alpha carbon and two beta carbon. मतलब alpha carbon is attached to the two carbons, and that is why it is 2 degree alcohol. And because there is a double bond between beta and the gamma carbon, as you can see, because ये benzylic group है ना. I told you that when there is a double bond between the beta and the gamma carbon, then that is a allylic or a benzylic group. ठीक है, so because यहाँ पे benzene ring है, so this is will be known as 2 degree benzylic alcohol or a secondary benzylic alcohol. Then we have another compound. ठीक है, so again I'll use a different thing. This OH is attached to this carbon atom, so this will be alpha. ठीक है, this will be alpha. Now alpha, then all the carbons which are adjacent to alpha, which are attached to alpha, they will be beta. तो ये वाला alpha हो गया, इसके बगल वाला beta and इसके बगल वाला भी beta. ठीक है, and this, the carbon atom which is a part of the benzene ring, it will be gamma. Fine. Now you can see that this alpha carbon is attached to two other carbon atoms. ठीक है, that means ये secondary है. ठीक है, हाँ 2 degree है, it is secondary. Also there is a double bond, but that double bond is between gamma and the other carbon atom, or the far away carbon atom. We don't have a double bond between beta and gamma. ठीक है, बीटा और गामा कार्बन के बीच में we don't have any double bond. That means it is a simple 2 degree alcohol. मतलब ये बेंजाइलिक की कैटेगरी में नहीं आएगा. ठीक है, बेंजाइलिक की कैटेगरी में I again remind you there is a condition that there has to be a double bond between beta and the gamma carbon, और यहाँ पे नहीं है बीटा और गामा कार्बन के बीच में डबल बॉन्ड. ठीक है, now one more example. This is the ring CH, double bond CH. Okay, so this is a complete compound. Now I'm going to label for clarity. So this OH is attached to this carbon, so this will be alpha. ठीक है, ये वाला कार्बन इज अल्फा. नाउ अल्फा कार्बन से जितने भी एडजेसेंट कार्बन एटम्स हैं, मतलब दे विल बी बीटा. सो मतलब दिस विल बी बीटा, दिस विल बी बीटा एंड दिस विल बी बीटा. एंड बीटा से भी जितने एडजेसेंट कार्बन एटम्स हैं, दे विल बी गामा. ठीक है, तो और बाकी तो कहीं पे नहीं है, यहाँ पे बीटा है, सो दिस विल बी गामा. ठीक है, so now we can clearly see that this alpha carbon is attached to 3 carbon atoms because we have 3 beta carbons. ठीक है, so number of beta carbon से भी हम पता लगा सकते हैं कि 1 degree है, 2 degree है या 3 degree है. ठीक है, so because we have 3 beta carbons, that means alpha carbon is attached to 3 carbon, and this is a 3 degree case, tertiary case. And also because beta और gamma के बीच में double bond है. ठीक है, this double bond is present between C beta and C gamma. So ये allylic group होगा. Again there can be a confusion कि ये benzylic group क्यों नहीं होगा, क्योंकि in benzylic group what we discussed कि वो जो double bond है ना, that should be a part of the benzene ring, तभी तो benzylic होगा. मतलब जो C beta और C gamma का जो bond होना चाहिए, that should be a part of a double bond. सॉरी, पार्ट ऑफ द बेंजीन. जैसे कि इस वाले केस में देखो, फोर्थ एग्जांपल पे बीटा और गामा, ये गामा था, तो बीटा और गामा का जो डबल बॉन्ड है, दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द बेंजीन रिंग, दैट इज इनसाइड द बेंजीन रिंग, तभी हम इसको बेंजाइलिक बोलेंगे. इस केस में क्या है, जो डबल बॉन्ड है दैट इज आउटसाइड द बेंजीन रिंग, क्योंकि ये एलिफैटिक वाले पोर्शन में आ रहा है. ठीक है, बेंजीन रिंग का पार्ट नहीं है, दैट इज वाई दिस विल बी टर्म्ड एज 3 degree allylic alcohol. ठीक है, so all these examples they had different answers, and just to make you aware of the variety of compounds that can exist, and there can be a little confusions also, as was with the fourth and the sixth example. Sixth was also looking to be a benzylic, but it is not. ठीक है, so you have to remember this simple things while the classification. Now Now we will this was all about the classification of all these three compounds. Now we will come to the nomenclature. I mean how to name the compounds. So we'll first talk about the nomenclature of alcohols. Nomenclature means naming, naming of alcohols. Okay. So first we are going to talk about the allylic, aliphatic alcohols. मतलब जो इसमें ring नहीं है. So, as you all know that there are two categories of the names that we are going to talk about. First one will be the common name, and then we have the IUPAC name. Okay? And we will do several examples of both these types of names. But I would like to tell you that the IUPAC names, they are more commonly used. ठीक है? जो generally textbooks में होते हैं या फिर exams में भी होते हैं ना, IUPAC names are more commonly used there and they are asked. So the common name of an alcohol is derived from the common name of the alkyl group. ठीक है, तो उस अल्कोहलिक कंपाउंड में जो भी अल्काइल ग्रुप प्रेजेंट है, तो एक कॉमन नेम कैसे बनाएंगे? कॉमन नेम ऑफ अल्काइल ग्रुप जो कि उस कंपाउंड में प्रेजेंट है, प्लस उसके बाद वी विल सिंपली ऐड अल्कोहल टू इट. ठीक है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर हम सिंपलेस्ट अल्कोहल लें विच इज CH3OH, तो हम उसे कैसे लिखेंगे? द अल्काइल ग्रुप विच इज अटैच्ड टू द OH इज मिथाइल. ठीक है, कुछ नहीं करना है, बस उसका अल्काइल ग्रुप का नाम लिखो और उसमें आगे अल्कोहल लगा दो. So this is the common name of this compound, methyl alcohol. ठीक. Now coming to the IUPAC. IUPAC convention says that the name of an alkane from which it is derived by replacing E with all. मतलब in simple terms if I write down here, देखो alkyl group और alkane इनके नेम्स अलग अलग होते हैं. ठीक है, तो ये चीज ध्यान रखना कि अगर हम alkyl ग्रुप बोलेंगे इसका मतलब है हम बोल रहे हैं मिथाइल या फिर इथाइल या फिर प्रोपाइल. ठीक है, ऐसा. अगर आइसोमर है तो आइसोप्रोपाइल भी हो सकता है, टर्ट ब्यूटाइल भी हो सकता है, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द कार्बन जिससे कि OH अटैच्ड है. ठीक है, तो एल्काइल ग्रुप में एंड में वाई एल आता है. ठीक है, आइल, वाई एल. ठीक है, व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द नेम ऑफ द एल्केन, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द कंप्लीट एल्केन. मतलब हम बोलेंगे मीथेन, इथेन, प्रोपेन और आइसो प्रोपेन, टर्ट ब्यूटेन. ठीक है, so this is the name of alkane. Plus what we will do is we will replace ये जो name of the alkane में E आता है, E को हम लोग all से replace कर देंगे. I'll give you an example. जो सबसे simplest क्या था, जो हमने ऊपर अभी देखा, वो क्या था? CH3OH. ठीक है, इसमें हमारा alkene क्या है? मीथेन. ठीक है, तो क्या करेंगे? मीथेन लिखेंगे. इसमें हमें मिथाइल नहीं लेना है. We have to take the name of the alkane, that is methane. और मीथेन के एंड में E आएगा, we will replace this E by all. तो E की जगह पे all आ जाएगा. So this is methanol. ठीक है, तो CH3OH का IUPAC name is methanol and the common name is methyl alcohol. So this was the convention. अच्छा, in this IUPAC name also, because we have this convention of choosing the longest carbon chain. ठीक है, like when this was the simplest compound. ठीक है, अभी अगर if you have a complex compound, I mean a complex alcohol, and you have to name it according to the IUPAC convention, then what will you do? First of all, your first step would be to choose the longest carbon chain. ठीक है, और वो longest carbon chain ऐसी होनी चाहिए जिसमें कि हमारा फंक्शनल ग्रुप या फिर जो प्रिंसिपल फंक्शनल ग्रुप होता है विच इज अल्कोहल ओवर हियर, इन आर केस अल्कोहल वाला कार्बन भी प्रेजेंट होना चाहिए उस लॉन्गेस्ट चेन में. ठीक है, नाउ हमें उस लॉन्गेस्ट चेन को वी नीड टू नंबर दैट. ठीक है, बिकॉज देयर कैन बी अदर सब्स्टिट्यूएंट्स और अदर ग्रुप्स विच आर अटैच्ड टू दी अदर as other carbon atoms as branching. So we want to name our longest chain, or sorry, number our longest chain. ठीक है, so numbering कैसे करते हैं? We will start from the carbon atom which is which is attached to the OH group. ठीक है, उसी कार्बन एटम से स्टार्ट करेंगे और वो वाला जो अल्फा कार्बन होगा जो हमने अभी डिस्कस किया, अल्फा कार्बन विल बी नंबर्ड एज 1, and then according to the like whatever longest chain you must have chosen, it will be numbered according to that, like 1 2 3, no. and then whatever location the other substituent is attached, you will name that compound according to that location. ठीक है, तो अभी we'll do the example, so अभी clear हो जाएगा. Complex examples भी also will do. Now there is a case of polyhydric alcohol. मतलब अगर ये तो हो गया सिंगल, अभी तक what we discussed was सिंगल मोनोहाइड्रिक अल्कोहल का क्लासिफिकेशन पढ़ा था ना हमने. वी डिड नॉट डिस्कस कि अगर मल्टीपल OH ग्रुप्स लगे हैं तो क्या होगा क्लासिफिकेशन, क्योंकि हमने क्या डिस्कस किया कि अल्फा कार्बन के हिसाब से वी नीड टू क्लासिफाई. अब इन दिस केस यू कैन से दैट देयर आर टू अल्फा कार्बन प्रेजेंट. क्यों? क्योंकि बिकॉज देयर आर टू OH, सो देयर विल बी टू अल्फा कार्बन. ठीक है, बट दिस इज नॉट द वे. आई टेल यू how are polyhydric alcohols named. Here also the name of the alkane, मतलब दोनों जितने भी OH ग्रुप है उन्हें हटा दो. ठीक है, उसके बाद जो alkane बन रहा है उसका नेम, देन वी विल राइट डाउन द पोजीशन ऑफ द अल्कोहलिक ग्रुप्स. मतलब OH ग्रुप जिस जिस पोजीशन पे लगे हुए हैं, मतलब पहले नेम लिखो, उसे नंबर करो, पोजीशन लिखो, एंड देन यू विल ऐड डायॉल और ट्रायोल. ठीक है, डिपेंडिंग कितने OH लगे हैं. मतलब अगर दो OH लगे हैं तो डायॉल लिखेंगे. इफ थ्री OH आर प्रेजेंट देन वी विल यूज ट्रायोल. So I'll give you an example of this thing. So talking about the dihydric alcohol, we have this OH. ठीक है, तो इसमें क्या करेंगे, सबसे पहले OH ग्रुप को इग्नोर करो. ठीक है, when you ignore the OH group, only we will be remaining with two carbon atoms, and so this compound is ethane. ठीक है, तो अभी हम IUPAC के पहले नेम कर रहे हैं, so we will write here ethane. फिर हमें क्या करना है, ऊपर देखो नेम ऑफ द एल्केन प्लस पोजीशन. पोजीशन क्या है इसकी, क्योंकि क्योंकि दो ही कार्बन आइटम है तो वी डोंट हैव टू नंबर इट दिस वे. इट कैन बी 1 and 2. अगर बड़ा चेन भी होता तो भी ऐसे ही होता, 1, 2, and then we, because there are two H, we will write it as diol. So this is ethane 1, 2 diol. ठीक है, now इसका this convention is only for the IUPAC convention. ठीक है, common name, that is ethylene glycol. When there is no particular rule for writing the common name of the, in this case of compound, but these are the common ones. So ethylene glycol, you can remember it this way, ethylene glycol. ठीक है, this name has not come out of any rule, it is just the common name, it is called in the industries. Now another polyhydric alcohol is trihydric, sorry this is CH2. ठीक है, इसको भी ऐसे ही करेंगे, OH को पहले इग्नोर कर दो, so we will be remain with propane because 1, 2 और 3 ट्रायोल. ठीक है, और इसका जो कॉमन नेम है ना, दैट इज ग्लीसरॉल, GLYCEROL. दिस इज ग्लीसरॉल, दिस इज द कॉमन नेम. ठीक है, अच्छा अगर इसी में हम और कार्बन आइटम लगा देते, मान लो यहाँ पे CH3 लगा हुआ है, ठीक है, तो ये इथेन की जगह प्रोपेन हो जाता और बाकी वही रहता, बाकी नेम वही रहता, क्योंकि अभी भी हम जब नंबर करते तो हम इधर ही से नंबर करते ना, 1, 2 और 3, ऐसे इसको 3 बोल देते. सो इट वुड बी प्रोपेन 1, 2 डायोल, सिंपल. ठीक है, तो अभी हम जस्ट रिमूविंग दिस. नाउ देयर इज वन मोर क्लास ऑफ कंपाउंड, इट इज द साइक्लिक अल्कोहल. ठीक है, तो इनमें इनका जो लाइक द रूल्स फॉर नेमिंग इन दिस काइंड ऑफ कंपाउंड्स इज वी विल यूज अ प्रीफिक्स साइक्लो and we will name the compound as if the OH group is attached to the carbon number 1. ठीक है, so अभी ऐसे समझ नहीं आएगा, आई एम डिस्कसिंग एन एग्जाम्पल. ठीक है, दिस इज द OH group. नाउ अब इसमें क्या है कि जो OH जिस कार्बन से अटैच्ड है दैट इज नंबर्ड एज 1. ठीक है, बाकी वी हैव 6 कार्बन एटम्स, so it will be hexane. ठीक है, so because it is cyclohexane ना, ये हेक्सेन नहीं है, ये साइक्लोहेक्सेन है, so this will be known as cyclohexanol. ठीक है, सिमिलरली अगर कोई सब्स्टिट्यूएंट भी लगा हुआ है, ठीक है, एंड सपोज देयर इज अ CH3 ग्रुप व्हिच इज अटैच्ड हियर, तो क्या करेंगे, क्योंकि OH is the functional, it is the principal functional group, that means we will number it this carbon as 1, जिससे OH लगा हुआ है वो 1 है, and this is the second carbon. So we will write it as, क्योंकि 2 नंबर पे मिथाइल ग्रुप लगा हुआ है तो हम लोग लिखेंगे 2 मिथाइल एंड देन इट इज साइक्लोपेंटेन और ई हटा के और लगा देना है आईयूपीएसी कन्वेंशन के हिसाब से, ठीक है। एल्केन लिखो, ई की जगह पे और लगा दो, बस इतना है, ठीक है। सो इट इज 2 मिथाइल साइक्लोपेंटेन। अगर OH हटा दें सो द कंपाउंड रिमेनिंग विल बी 2 मिथाइल साइक्लोपेंटेन। लेकिन उस केस पे क्योंकि OH नहीं है तो 2 नहीं लगाएंगे ना, इट विल बी मिथाइल साइक्लोपेंटेन। बट हियर यहाँ पे OH वाले कार्बन को वी आर कंसिडरिंग एज फर्स्ट कार्बन, दैट इज व्हाई इट विल बी 2 मिथाइल साइक्लोपेंटेनॉल, ठीक है। So we'll also do another complex examples regarding the nomenclature of the alcohols in the next lecture, and then we will move on to the nomenclature of phenols and ethers also. Okay, it will be a like it will be interesting because there are a lot of rules and you need to remember some things, some tricks. This was all for today. Thank you, class.